Hey guys, how's it going? This is Seth from REtipster.com. In this video, I want to talk to you about something that was a really big problem for me for a lot of years in my young professional life. And when I finally got my arms around this issue and made it a priority and understood the importance of it, it made a huge difference in my life. So today what we're talking about is what it means to dress the part of a professional. For most of my 20s, I really had kind of a big problem with this. I had this big issue of not understanding the importance of presenting myself professionally. So anytime I was in a situation where I had to wear a suit or I had to wear a button-down shirt or a tie, it just felt like phony and fake to me, like I wasn't really being myself. Because obviously I would never just choose to hang out around my house in a tailored suit. That would make no sense. It's totally uncomfortable. It's all like stuffy and stiff and just, it's just not me. So why would I portray myself like that in the professional world and trying to come across like somebody I'm not? I hated putting a bunch of effort into my physical appearance. In my mind, dressing like a professional was just another way of selling out. The real true problem that I had with this idea of portraying myself all sharp and dressed up was the fact that this was really unfamiliar territory for me. It wasn't about selling out or trying to be fake or phony. It was because I was really sending all the wrong messages by choosing to ignore this whole issue. All along, I was confusing uncomfortable with unfamiliar. And just because I was unfamiliar with something didn't mean it was a bad thing or that I shouldn't do it. So for me, dressing like a professional was something I rarely ever had to think about in life until I was getting near the end of college. I had to start doing job interviews, and it actually started to matter that I didn't look like a homeless person. Whenever I would come into contact with somebody in a professional environment and I wasn't actually dressing the part, a lot of them would think things like, man, this guy is dressing like a kid, not a man. I guess that's how he wants to be treated. Or this guy clearly doesn't care about looking competent and successful. There must be a reason for that. Or, well, Seth obviously doesn't take himself that seriously, so why should we take him seriously? Now let's just stop right here and acknowledge something, all right? Is it judgmental to size somebody up based on their physical appearance and what they're wearing? Yeah, it kind of is, but at the same time, that doesn't stop anybody, including you, from doing it based on somebody's outward appearance. For the same reason you wouldn't hire this guy to babysit your kids, the same reason you wouldn't hire this guy to give you financial advice, why would anybody, knowing nothing else about you, have a good first impression of you if you don't take any care in how you present yourself? So on one hand, it may totally be judgmental, but on the other hand, isn't it just common sense? By dismissing and trying to push back against the importance of looking professional, I was sending people all the wrong messages. So for me, my whole perspective on this issue started to radically change when I discovered this guy on YouTube named Antonio Centeno. Now, Antonio runs a website called Real Men, Real Style. It's a super popular blog. He's got hundreds, probably thousands of videos now, where he dives very deep into very specific details about how and why it's important to dress sharp, and pretty much everything in between in terms of what kinds of clothes to wear, in which situations, how to make sure they fit right, where to get these clothes, all this stuff. Never before had I heard somebody explain so eloquently how to dress sharp, why it was so important, and why it was actually a lot easier than I ever thought. This guy truly gave me a life-changing education. I really mean that. Once I started applying the stuff that I learned from his YouTube videos, almost overnight, everybody I worked with, both in my office and with other companies, started to treat me with a lot more professionalism, and a lot of positive changes started happening in direct proportion to the way that I presented myself. For all the years I had spent fighting against this idea of dressing like somebody I wasn't, I was completely missing the point, and I was totally shooting myself in the foot. I think one of the biggest aha moments for me personally, and one of the reasons this really started to make sense, was when I heard Antonio talking about something called the interchangeable wardrobe. So it's this idea that you can buy not a whole lot of pieces of clothing, maybe 13 or 14 articles of, shirts, pants, belts, shoes, but from these dozen or so pieces of clothing, you can create well over 100 unique outfits because all the pants, all the shoes, all the belts, they all match each other no matter how you want to pair it together. And there's a lot of benefits from this. Not only do you have to spend a heck of a lot less money because you don't have to buy that many clothes, but also it allows you to think a lot less. Every time you go to the closet to pick out your outfit for the day, You don't have to spend time mixing and matching and wondering whether or not something goes with something else. And no matter what, it's all gonna work. Which for me was this huge light bulb moment when I realized, like, man, I could do this. I could just spend a little bit of time picking out high quality articles of clothing, and then I'm set for pretty much any situation for a long, long time. And that's what I've been doing for years now, and I gotta tell you, it works really, really well. And when I finally started to embrace this idea of presenting myself more professionally and actually putting a little bit of effort into the way that I looked, a ton of great things started happening in my life. A lot of people started treating me with more respect. I made a killer first impression with all of our new customers and clients that I would meet. I actually felt more confident because I knew I looked a lot better. I suddenly had this instant credibility with all the new people I met because they could see my appearance and just see, look, this guy's got his stuff together. Everyone I came into contact with suddenly got this subliminal message that Seth is not just this kid or loser who doesn't know how to take care of himself, he's somebody to be taken seriously. And then also, the people in charge at the different organizations I worked for and worked with started to recognize, hey, Seth is somebody who pays attention to the details and he catches things that other people won't. Now, up until this point, we've been talking about my experience in the corporate world. But say you're in the real estate world, this is a little bit different, okay? Say if you're a real estate investor, maybe you work from home, maybe you don't have to appeal to some boss or look good for your coworkers or anything like that. Does this stuff still matter? I mean, heck, what if you're even one of these virtual real estate investors who literally like never leaves your computer and you do everything from behind the veil of the internet? Does this still matter at all? I mean, can you just like go to work in your sweatpants or no pants for that matter? Is anybody gonna care about that? Well, as somebody who actually is one of these virtual real estate investors, I can tell you that even in the realm of real estate, even if you're not a real estate agent, a banker, a broker, or somebody like that, it still does matter to dress like you have your stuff together. Even if most of your business happens from behind a computer, even if you're not constantly meeting with new clients in person, things like that, you're still gonna have the occasion where you'll have to meet up with local people in your market. Maybe you'll have to go to a title company for a closing. Maybe you'll have to do a call on video and you can't just be sitting there looking like a slob. There are still plenty of instances where it does matter that you put forth an appropriate physical appearance. At some point, we all have to come to the table and look professional. This is not something we can just throw out. We need to be ready to dress the part when the time calls for it, even when those times are few and far between. Now, I'll just explain a little bit how I dress as a real estate investor. So back when I worked my 8-to-5 job in the banking industry, it actually kind of mattered a lot that I dress well and put forth a really good appearance. However, things have definitely changed now that I don't have that job anymore, now that I'm working from home, and I'm really kind of in charge of my day-to-day activities. Now, don't get me wrong, ever since I left my job, I have definitely not been putting on a tailored suit before I go to my basement office and start working each day. I mean, it's just totally unnecessary, and I just don't really want to do that. However, again, in my situation, I'm still paying attention to what I wear each day. It's very, very common that I have things like unplanned Skype or Zoom video calls where people can see my face and they can see what I'm wearing, all right? It happens all the time. I also send a lot of video emails to the people I work with where, again, you can see what I'm wearing. It's not like I could just wear my pajamas all day. That's not gonna cut it. People aren't gonna take me seriously that way. If you follow the REtipster YouTube channel for any length of time, you'll know that I do a lot of these talking head explainer videos where I'm sitting in front of the camera. And again, like, I don't have to look amazing, but like I should at least kind of look like I care, at least a little bit. And then obviously it's not uncommon at all for me to do these impromptu in-person lunches with people or breakfasts or meeting up with people for coffee. It happens all the time, and I don't want to have no clue what I'm doing when those times come. I want to be prepared and ready to rock pretty much every day. So even though I'm definitely dressing in a way that's very casual and comfortable, I'm still putting thought into it. I'm not just letting myself go each day just in the name of, well, I work for myself and I don't need to impress anybody. I want to be proudly presentable to anybody at any time, regardless of who or when I might bump into them, whether it's online or in person. This is the way I handle it, and honestly, like at the bare minimum, that's what I would recommend other real estate investors do as well. You don't have to dress up like a banker or an attorney, but you don't want to fall into slob territory either. So maybe you're somebody like me where, okay, you might care somewhat about presenting yourself well, But maybe you don't have an eye for fashion or style. Like if somebody drops you off in the middle of Macy's, you're gonna have no idea where and how to pick out outfits that match and look good together. I'm totally in the same boat with you. I actually am still horrible at this. And there's this secret weapon that has been immensely helpful to me. It's this website called Stitch Fix. There's actually a number of different services like this out there, but I've had really good luck with Stitch Fix. And the way this company works is that you start by filling out this online style profile. So you give them a lot of examples of different types of outfits that you do or don't like. You give them all your sizes, your height, your weight, your build, certain brands of clothing that you would or wouldn't buy, all kinds of information so that their personal stylist understands pretty well what kind of clothes you're looking for. Once they have this information from you, they're going to send you a curated box of clothing items, usually 5 items in each box, and you can just take them out, try them out, see if you like them or not. And if you like it, obviously you keep it and pay for it. And if you don't like it, you just throw it back in a bag envelope and send it back to them, and you don't pay for it. And really the only stipulation is you have to keep at least one thing, and if you don't, you have to pay a $20 per box stylist fee so that it covers the time they put into selecting these items for you. I'll also tell you that the items you end up keeping and paying for, you're gonna be paying full retail prices. So if you're looking for like sales and lowest price stuff, this is probably not the service you wanna use, but honestly, like this is how Stitch Fix makes money, is by charging these full retail prices. In my experience, I've never gotten a box from them where they haven't been at least 2 items that I was happy to keep. So it's not like they send you a bunch of garbage. And when you don't like what you get, you send it back to them and you actually explain why you didn't want to keep it, whether it didn't fit right, or it was too expensive, or it wasn't your style, or the quality wasn't good enough. They take all that stuff into account and then keep it in mind for the next box they send you so that they can essentially get better and better at sending you things that you really want and need. For somebody like me who will absolutely buy the wrong thing if I'm out on my own, not knowing what I'm doing, this kind of service is like absolutely worth the price. Like there's just no question about it, because if I'm just left on my own and I buy stuff that like ultimately isn't gonna work out well, I'm probably not gonna wear it much anyway because I'm gonna look like an idiot when I wear it. And then that money's just totally wasted because I should have used a service like Stitch Fix in the first place. If you want to check out Stitch Fix, I actually have a referral link that if you click on this specific link, it'll give you 25 bucks off your first order. They'll also give me 25 bucks off for my next order. So you can help us both out, but you gotta go through that link. So the bottom line is, regardless of what your profession is, where you work, what you do, or how much you do or don't care about dressing like a professional, there's one key takeaway I want you to walk away with here. Presenting yourself well in a professional environment, this is not about trying to live up to some standard of somebody else or be somebody you're not. Like that's not the point of doing this. Presenting yourself well, whether it's in the way you dress, the way you carry yourself, the way you take care of your body, or the way you speak to others, it's all about putting your best foot forward and being prepared for anything life throws at you. If a situation calls for you to look and act the part of a true professional, you should aspire to put yourself forward in a way that makes people proud and not embarrassed to be associated with you. When you have the confidence to rise to the occasion, present yourself well, and make a great first impression, whenever and wherever the situation calls for it, it can open up a ton of doors for you if you're simply willing to dress the part of a true professional. Thanks again for watching. If you want to learn more about all this stuff, if you want to get into this like I started getting into it a few years ago, there's actually a number of really great YouTubers who talk about every aspect you can imagine of this stuff, both for men and for women. If you want to check out some of the ones that I've followed in the past, I'm going to list all of them in the description below. I would totally encourage you to check them out. I think they're all great and bring a ton of value to this space online. So thanks again for watching. I wish you all the best.